students, Sairam, welcome to your science class. You all know we are learning chapter number 15, Air Around Us. From your NCERT science textbook, we have almost reached to the end of this chapter. Let's proceed and learn few more facts about air. Let's have a quick revision of what concept we have understood in this chapter. We have seen introduction to the chapter, then we have learned the facts that air is present everywhere around us. We also learned about air is not only one substance, but it is made up of mixture of substances or gases like water vapor, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, dust, smoke, and etc. Today, we will study how does oxygen become available to animals and plants that live in water and soil. So let's learn about this topic today. So let us continue. The question is, how does oxygen become available to animals and the plants living in water and soil? We all know that air is present everywhere and it can penetrate into any porous substances. Children, in previous chapters, we learned that air in the water or oxygen in the water is available to all animals and plants living in water in the form of dissolved oxygen. These animals have adapted their body organs to inhale this dissolved oxygen which is present in the water during respiration. We know that many small tiny microorganisms or worms, snakes, beetles, even rabbits, like animals, live inside the soil by forming holes or burrows in the soil. How do you think that these animals get air for respiration? Let us understand this concept by knowing an activity. For this activity, take a lump of dry soil which is usually not ploughed on, and this we are going to take into a beaker or a glass which I have shown you here on the screen. Then add some amount of water to it and observe the changes that you see and note down. What do you see? Can you observe the bubbles coming out of the soil? These bubbles are coming out from the soil indicates that there is a presence of air in the soil. Like I've already explained you about the bubbles which you observe is due to the air present in the soil. It's the space now which is occupied by air. That means, children, in the air which was there previously in the soil, that space now when we put this lump of soil in the water, that space is occupied by the water, and air in the soil gets mixed up with the water and rise up on the surface of the surface in the form of bubbles. Similarly, children, when the soil is porous and gets wet, the air present in the soil is replaced by the water or continuous flow of air, and the air that comes out of the soil is actually respired by the animals present in the soil and also by the plant roots. You can see in the image that all the composition of soil, it is usually porous and 25% of it is occupied by air. You know, a lot of animals live in the soil by making burrows and holes in it, like rabbits, platypus, beetles, snakes, earthworms, etc. Or even all these animals most of the time move in and out of the soil for more air present on the land surface than in the burrows. When there are heavy rains, the rainwater occupies all the spaces in the burrows and the holes in the soil, and these burrows are filled completely by the water. The animals living in the soil has to come out onto the surface for the respiration, and that is why we see many earthworms. They come out of the soil surface, or they come on the soil surface due to the space occupied completely filled by the rainwater. Your children, this is the reason in rainy season we see a lot of earthworms nearby you. You might be getting a doubt if you are rapidly in your rapidly increasing population of living beings on the earth. Does it not alter the amount of oxygen? Does it not affect the amount of oxygen? As the population increases, the amount of air or oxygen inhaled by this even human beings or living beings will also increase. So how the carbon dioxide and the oxygen is balanced on the earth? This question have arise in your mind? Yes. Then what is responsible for the balance of oxygen level on the earth? And answer would be plants. How is oxygen in the atmosphere is replaced? This is our question, and plants not only prepare food directly or indirectly, they are even responsible for the production of oxygen by the process of photosynthesis to all animals which are present on the earth. We know the process of photosynthesis, right? In this process, plants, with the help of sunlight, water, chlorophyll, and carbon dioxide, produces their own food, and along with that, oxygen is also used as the end product. Oxygen is also produced as the end product, and this oxygen is consumed by the animals. Not only animals, but also plants undergoes the respiration, which involves inhalation of oxygen, but the ratio of producing oxygen by the plants through the photosynthesis is more, or we can say far more, compared to the oxygen utilized by the plants during respiration. So it is clear that the animals are completely dependent on the plants for oxygen, without which we cannot live. And it is also clear that the animals are independent on each other. Now, after understanding all these things, all the concepts, we can say that air is very important for life on the earth. Other than the uses of air on the earth for plants and animals, are there any other uses of air? Yes, of course, there are many uses of air. Do you know about windmill? For what purpose it is used, and how does it work? A windmill has a large fans which are fixed at the center, and which fans rotates with the force of wind. The windmill is used for many purposes, like to draw water from the tube well or to run flour mills. And windmill, actually, wind energy is converted into electrical energy. This is the use of windmill. The other uses of air or wind are, it helps in the movement of sailing of yachts, which sail along with the direction of wind. Even the gliders, parachutes, aeroplanes are also work on this to move with the help of the movement of air. The terrestrial animals like birds, like some insects, all these can fly due to the presence of air. The reproduction in plant can be seen mainly due to the movement of air or wind, which is helpful in the dispersal of pollen grains and seeds. Here we can say that wind is helpful in the dispersal of pollen grains and seeds. And children, here even the most important is the presence of water vapor in the air. That water helps is very important, plays very important role in water cycle also. So we can say that it is very useful for us, even for the living things. It is responsible for the life on the earth. So children, here we complete this chapter. I hope all of you have learned all the topics which I taught you. Thank you children. Goodbye.